let's talk a little NFL. It's never a bad time to talk some NFL. And right now, there's a lot of talk about Tua because he is that kind of quarterback out there. Obviously, Dak Prescott, but Dak has had his big contract, and he'll get another one at some point. But Tua is a guy that's been incredible. This year was very productive. Was one of had some of the best statistics in the NFL and put up the historic 70-point game, of course, against the Denver Broncos. And yet he is not paid. Mm-hmm. And his teammate, Tyreek Hill, Tyreek Hill's a heck of a teammate, man. Like that, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the brother you want commenting on you when something's going on. I mean, here's one thing he said. For people to sit here and try to discredit Tua and say it's not deserving of a contract is wild to me. A lot of guys on the team understand his value and understand that we need him. We need his leadership. We need the mindset that he brings into each and every week. It's there. It's like Terminator almost, man. I feel like he should be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. That's a teammate for you. All right. Very different than who was it for the Cowboys?
Malik Hooker.
Yeah. Juxtapose that with Malik Hooker.
You said if you're not fitting to run, quit podcasting, Micah.
Right. Let Micah wait his turn. But anyway, Tyreek wants him to get paid. And on the other end of the spectrum, the Athletic polled, no, it wasn't the Athletic, it was ESPN, Jeremy Fowler, right? Polled several NFL executives and coaches, about 80 of them. And they ranked their top 10 quarterbacks, and Tua was not there. He was nowhere to be found. And so where are you at? I'm going to tell you where I'm at, and then I want to hear your opinion. And longtime listeners of the show know where I'm at on Tua. I like Tua. I think he's a solid quarterback. If I were the Miami Dolphins, I would not be ready to pay him yet. I would not be ready to give him a $200 million contract or whatever it would end up being. Because number one, because I am not fully convinced. I'm sorry for those that are offended by this, but I'm not fully convinced that my man can stay healthy. I mean, he's had one fully healthy season in 4 years in the NFL. It's not enough. Mm-hmm. Not for me to give you all this guaranteed money. So that's number one. I want to see you stay healthy this year too. And then number two, Tua has struggled against great competition. He was 1-6 last year against playoff teams. And it's not just that they lost. Because some people would look at their defense and say, well, they gave up more points, blah, 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 blah. Tua's numbers plummet against good competition. Plummet. So I want to see you produce against some of the big boys. All right, before I pony up all this money. And then he is Martin. We know he's from Hawaii. But my man is 0-6 when there's a breeze out. 45 degrees isn't exactly freezing. 45 degrees and under, Tua is 0-6. That's not what I need, because in the playoffs, good chance you're going to play in some cold weather. And so those are things I need for Tua to improve on and show me before I give him the huge money, especially when I can franchise him. So I'm sorry. I get Tua's thoughts of, it's time to pay a brother. And I'd be happy for him personally if he got paid. But from a business standpoint, if I'm the Dolphins, not yet.
For me, this contract gets done after one conversation. Stephen Ross needs to sit down with Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer and ask Mike while he's sitting there in his off-white, brand-new Air Force Ones and his pants that show off his ankles, right? Ask him, is it you or is it Tua? Right? Is it you or is it Tua? Can you do this with another guy? And if Mike McDaniel says anything but it's Tua, it's time not rip that paper up. We're not offering him this contract.
Have done that, don't you think?
I think that's probably the conversation may have already happened, which is why we're in the situation we're in now with the Miami quarterback.
Right.
That's what I think that's the conversation needs to be had. And I think that you probably had a similar one with Les Need and the LA coach, Sean McVay. Right? Sean McVay said, is it you or is it Goff? And he said, no, it's me. You go get me this guy, Matthew Stafford, I'll bring you back a ring. Whatever Mike McDaniel says, that's the answer. I think that Mike McDaniel is probably saying, it's me. It's me. I'm drawing this up. I'm making him look great. Now,
yeah, and I think he's go ahead.
I was just if I'm Tua, don't get me wrong. I'm doing all of this. I'm saying I want the market value. I want the $60 million. I'm looking at give me. I'm up there. I'm sitting there the same way that Dak Prescott is and Brock Purdy should in a couple years from now. But when
let's stay there because, and I talked about this because the reporting seems to be that the Dolphins are willing to pay him something, right? It's not market value. It's not $50 million plus. Are they willing to? It seems they may be willing to give him somewhere between 45 and 50. Now I get to it being like, yo, pay a brother. The market rate is $55 million. That's what I want. Look at my numbers. Check my stats against Jared Goff and so on and so forth, right? But, and I'm just thinking out loud because I get Tua wanting as much money as he could get. But, Martin, here's the thing. If you're Tua, do you sit back? Does a part of you say, you know what? They're offering me, let's just throw out $47 million a year. Let's just say that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a great situation. I'm in a warm weather city that's a great city. I got a phenomenal offensive coach. I've got phenomenal receivers. I got very good running backs. I mean, I can stay here and put up numbers. And, I mean, I'm not going to admit this to the Dolphins, but I'm injury prone. I have only had one healthy season. I'm like talking, as you look in the mirror to this is what you're saying to yourself.
Sure.
So why don't I lock up for a 5-year, $220 million deal, whatever it would end up being. Why don't I lock up all this money just in case I get hurt? And we're going to talk about this, but it's kind of to me what Jalen Brunson did. Jalen said, you know what, a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. And so what do you think about that? I mean, to me, that is legitimate if you're Tua to say, maybe I'll take the $47 million per, or, say, assuming they're offering somewhere around there as security. Because if I get hurt, if I get another concussion, my career and certainly big-time paydays are in jeopardy.
I agree with that in terms of if he gets another concussion, his career is in jeopardy, and he probably should retire, let's be honest, if he does get another one. Here's the problem, though, Chris. In a world where 36-year-old Kirk Cousins just got $180 million, $100 million guaranteed, at 36 with a torn Achilles, and one playoff win? If I'm Tua, I got to get to market. I got to get to market because somebody's going.
But Kirk, I mean, for a 36-year-old off an injury, of course. But still, it was only $45 million.
But that's what I'm saying.
Cousins can argue he's better than some of these guys that got paid more.
But Chris, at 40, if Kirk Cousins is making $45 million, you about to pay me $47? If I'm Tua, no, I'm going to market. Now, but it ultimately
where I have questions about what you said is that, like you said, somebody, I'm going out like that. Dak's gonna get paid.
I 100% agree.
I'm not sure Tua will.
I think Tua will get paid as well, but not
like that much.
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't think Tua is resetting the market no matter where he goes. So it depends on that. It depends on if he really likes his situation or not, whether or not he's willing to take.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, you might be upset that they seem to be doubting you, right?
I think that's the number one reason.
But where are you going? Where you gonna get a better set of wide receivers?
You're not.
A better run game, a better play caller. Like, really?
You're not getting a better set of wide receivers between Waddle and Tyreek Hill, more than likely. If they're not the best, they're top 3.
There doesn't exist one.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. So, but it all depends on, again, kind of just like Jalen Brunson, it depends on how much do you like it here and how much did this negotiation period, bother you, right? How much did you – because the report is Tua wants to reset the market, right?
See, and sometimes, man, you have to put your ego aside. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, come on. Who should be paid more than him? He's not concerned about I got to be the highest paid guy in the league.
But he also has a contract that will have him locked up through like 2031 at this point.
As he should.
I'm not saying,
know what I'm saying? Like, he's making about $45 million a year.
Yeah, but he's like, I can take a cut on the average annual value because the total value is dwarfing a lot of these guys with the average annual value.
But any of these dudes that keep playing long, now they don't have the 12 years, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to make that money if they keep playing.
Yeah.
I just, obviously Tom Brady didn't always take as much as he could have gotten. And I'm not going to I'm not going to count his pockets. If he holds out for the $60 million or whatever, then fine. But I think that's something he definitely needs to look at, Martin.
It's a decision he's got to make. Yeah. But if, in fact, he does want to maximize his earnings, I'd go to market because somebody will fork over $55 million for a quarterback at this point.
I'm not sure they're going to do that for Tua. Because in addition to the injuries, you've got the questions about how great is he?